Good morning, dear students of class 12. Welcome to the English online learning class. Today we are going to revise the poem on Jennifer's Tigers by ADRIENNE Rich. So, a brief about the poet. Adrienne Cecil Rich was an American poet, essayist, and feminist. She was one of the most widely read and influential poets of the second half of the 20th century. She brought the oppression of women to the forefront of poetic discourse. She was born on 16th May 1929, Baltimore, Maryland, United States, and she died on 27th March 2012. She won the National Book Award for Poetry. Now, let us work on this poem. Aunt Jennifer's tigers prance across the screen. So where are the tigers? Yes, they are on the screen. And what are they doing? They are moving gracefully. Aunt Jennifer's tigers, they are bright topaz denizens of a world of green. They do not fear the men beneath the tree. They pace in sleek, chivalric certainty. So what special qualities do the tigers, Aunt Jennifer's tigers, possess? They are bright topaz colored, denizens, inhabitants of a world of green, world of forests. And besides this, they are fearless. What are the men beneath the tree doing? They are aiming at the tigers, to shoot down the tigers. But these tigers are fearless. They pace in sleek, chivalric certainty. How do they move about? In poise, with elegance. Chivalric, they are brave. And certainty with confidence. So, these tigers, although they are on the screen, there is something which is very living about them. Aunt Jennifer's tigers possess qualities like they are fearless, they are confident, they are brave, courageous. Now, Aunt Jennifer's fingers fluttering through her wool find even the ivory needle hard to pull. Aunt Jennifer is working on a panel, and her fingers are fluttering, they are shaking through her wool. Even the ivory needle, which is very light, Aunt is finding it hard to pull. Probably Aunt is very weak. That is why her fingers are fluttering. Or Aunt's mind is preoccupied. She is tense. She wants to create fearless tigers. And something is obstructing her from creating those fearless tigers. So what she is feeling, trying to put that in her art, in her artistic creations on the panel, is quite an effort for Aunt. So fluttering fingers moving in an aimless manner. The massive weight of Uncle's wedding band sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. Aunt is wearing a marriage band. Marriage band, which signifies happiness. But on the contrary, the word massive weight is used, which probably gives an indication that aunt is not having a happy marriage. She is suffering. She is living under oppression. Marriage is a torture for aunt. And that is why the word massive weight is used for the wedding band. It gives us an indication of aunt's unhappy marriage. Probably she is suffering under a cruel husband. Her fingers are fluttering through her wool, which shows both her physical and mental weakness. And she is struggling with her creative work. She wants to create fearless tigers, and the tensions in her life, they are obstructing her thoughts, her thought process. Probably that is why her fingers are fluttering. When aunt is dead, her terrified hands will lie, still ringed with ordeals she was mastered by. In the last stanza, in the third stanza, the poet says that aunt is dead, but her terrified hands would still be would still be mastered by the ordeals which she was going through when she was living, the ordeals of a bad marriage. Severe testing experiences of her married life, how she suffered under a cruel husband, the male chauvinistic world. This shows Aunt Jennifer's agony. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing and unafraid. The poem ends with these lines. The tigers in the panel that she made will go on prancing, moving proud and unafraid. Probably nothing is going to happen to her art. Her art is immortal. Or the other interpretation can be that aunt will has met a sad end, but the male dominated world will remain like this. Probably it's an appeal by the poet that women, society should rise to the occasion. Education, awareness, enlightenment, empowerment will go a long way to give women their due. So, if you recapitulate the poem, you can see in the first two pictures how Aunt Jennifer's tigers are shown on the screen. The qualities of the tigers. The third picture, Aunt Jennifer's Fingers are fluttering through her wool. She is trying to create those fearless tigers, whereas her mental state is in conflict. The weight of wedding band, which gives an indication of her unhappy marriage. The aunt is no more alive, but she is still carrying the burden of her bad marriage, the oppression that she had to bear in her life, will not be freed, will even bother her even after death. The tigers in the panel will go on prancing and unafraid. Means that the artistic creation of aunt will be immortal, will remain the same. Probably the other interpretation the poet is trying to give in the last two lines, he's simply stating that Aunt Jennifer was too late. She tried to express herself and to overcome the oppression that she probably could not even explain, but she only knew how to do it through masculine images. Aunt never got to see women standing strong, proud, because they were simply women. She missed out on watching women become successful, say astronauts, businesswomen, artists, policemen. And the reason her tigers went on prancing proud and unafraid was because the tigers represented all things masculine and therefore had nothing to fear. Analysis of massive weight of uncle's wedding band. This image is symbolic of the oppression a woman faces in matrimony at the hands of a terrifying husband. If we appreciate this poem, the poem is formal, structured lyric structure. It contains 3 stanzas of 4 lines each. Language, most of the words are short and simple and everyday words. The sentences are simple in structure and all take 2 lines. Full stop, commas, full stops are placed regularly at the end of every second line if you see. The poem is controlled just like its subject, Aunt Jennifer's. Now, if you identify the poetic devices, there's an example of alliteration, hyperbole, example of paradox. You notice the first, second, and third stanza and also work out on the rhyme scheme of the poem. The message of the poet. Rich strongly argues that women exploitation at the hands of men must end. He deals with that power of women which is to engender, to create, to bring forth fuller life, unlike exploitative power of the males. Women have to take the lead, educate, become aware and empower themselves. And society has to rise to the occasion. So we stop here and we have revised this poem, come up with your problems, if any, and study related material of the poem is also posted in the GCR. Thank you.